Okay, guys, we are live. So for those listening at home, welcome to the Dungeon Musings YouTube channel. My name is Kevin Madison, and I'll be your friendly shop steward today, because today we are carrying on with our ongoing campaign playing Paizo Publishing's outstanding fantasy RPG Pathfinder 2nd Edition, now remastered. And we're playing it in our own custom setting of the Spires of Paridar, a setting of occult conspiracy, class disparity, and industrial progress. With me today are the stars of the Spires of Paridar campaign, the Illuminators themselves. I'll go the order I've got you guys on the screen here. Why don't you tell us who you are and who you're playing today? First up, we've got James.
Hi, I'm James. I'm playing Sally Dumer, who the Azarketi detective who went AWOL during the fight and went and hid behind a chimney stack.
Very nice. Next up is Ingolf.
Yeah, I'm Ingolf. I'm playing Basil Rathbone, who is an Isoki detective and very hard to kill, finally. It seems.
It's a determined little rat folk. And last, but certainly not least, is Darren.
Hello, yeah, Darren here. I am playing Dr. Adam Ersprung, who is a created flesh warp inventor, and he's currently without his trusty sidekick Igor. He's very upset about that.
Yeah. So that is an interesting turn of events that happened last time. Guys, what happened last time? Ms. Dumer was unable to join us last time, having been apparently punched one session forward at the end of the previous one. What happened last time?
I think we can sum it up by saying we got our arses handed to us by Mr. Saxon whilst trying to rescue a couple of children from his hideout.
I think you should be more positive. We rescued 2 children under great peril, and we did it.
Yeah,
that's the important fact here.
Absolutely.
And the other thing is not so important.
And Golag's precious vehicle got a dent in the front when Adam drove it into Zane Saxon.
Yeah.
So yet to discover that, hopefully.
Saxon proved to be every bit as much of a challenge as expected, but and Basil went down at least once.
I think twice.
Twice. Okay, I was going to say.
Twice, yeah.
And once in the session before. So I think.
Yeah, he's truly, paid his pound of flesh to try and get these kids back. And Igor was destroyed by Mr. Saxon as well. But the efforts were a success. They rescued the kids, brought them back to the. Yes. Oh, you escaped with thanks to. It was actually Golag who took the kids and used invisibility sphere to escape, and then you guys helped distract him.
Yeah, he hid from Mr. Saxon and eventually got away. We managed to pick up their mother and reunite the children with the mother, and we dropped them off at Sir Barnabas Steele to hope that he'd be able to look after them while we finished the case. And then we took the 2 members of staff from our office to the clinic, and we've asked Captain Withers to watch over the clinic.
That's right.
Establishment.
Yeah, our Illuminators called in some favors from both friends and foes at the end. Do you remember the logic behind calling on Sir Barnabas Steele? I think it was quite good reasoning behind it.
Yeah, I mean, Golag wanted to sort of make contact with him as well to try and show that he was, trying to help these people, and because he was under suspicion from Barnabas Steele. But yeah, he would be fully against anything like this if he found out what Saxon was about. He would definitely be against it, because I think he knows about
Gwendolyn Fellow.
Yeah, Gwendolyn, doesn't he? Yeah. So when we explain that to him in the future, that they're all tied up in that. I can't remember what else Was there something else? Why we dropped it off there?
No, I think it was to do that. And I mean, it also, I think the thought being that if anyone is going to be able to protect the wife and things, the Order of St. Sylvester would be.
Yes, a super secure place, I would think.
Mm-hmm. And then to augment the protection at, or with the expectation there may be some, what's the word I'm looking for here? Reciprocity? No. There may be some payback from Mr. Oh, right, because Basil actually had, I can't remember if it was last session or the session before. Might have been last session is when you learned, because you had your meeting with the people who don't exist.
Yeah.
Because you learned it was through. It turns out that it was a. Well, do you remember what it was, Ingolf? I'll say if you don't remember, but.
Yeah, I'm not sure what you want to talk about right now. I mean, I met them and I got.
I was just going to say, there's another gang, isn't there? Spying on us or keeping an eye on us. I think that's what you're alluding to, isn't it? Yeah,
because the Golag's father wouldn't help out with further work, he went to someone under the employ of this, or at least associated with the Whisker Network, and he wanted him to make a much more stern response to that. And he also needed a safe house, and that was through that contact, Basil, who now owes a favor to the Whisker Network. Good thing it doesn't exist. He will owe a favor to them, and they were able to find the safe house as a result of that. I think that actually might have been 2 sessions ago. I think that's what brought you to the precipice of your encounter, where Sally last remembers getting fucking beamed in the noggin with a cane. Anything else that we're missing? Sally, any questions?
No, not so much. We were under the impression that our headquarters might be attacked. That is why we decided to have our staff evicted in a way, and then let's see now. We wanted to go to the university if possible, but I'm not sure. I think it was already getting to the evening, so we weren't sure that we would meet someone there or so. So maybe we need to stay the night at the at our home. I don't know. So or we could try to turn off the machinery, but I think the last time we wanted to talk to Professor Galbary before we do that.
Yeah, I think we were going to give him one chance to see if he'd managed to work anything out before we took any sort of last minute drastic sort of steps to turn it off.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing we could try to do is to find him at home. I don't know. I mean,
yeah, you still have yet to be at Mr. Saxon's home.
No, at Professor Galbary's home.
So Professor Galbary. I don't know if you know where he lives. I think that you could probably uncover it, Basil, but...
Yeah. We don't right now, but I think we can find out.
Mm-hmm.
Or do we want to stay the night? I don't know.
So was it, it was fairly late, was it? Is that right?
I think it was the afternoon when you made all your plans and you made all your contacts and whatnot, so it's probably early evening when it's still the summer, so like the light is still out and you're beginning to see those falling stars overhead. But I think it was just you guys left, Sovin and Mrs. Tabiner. Hold on. Forgot my notes.
Yeah,
Claire Tabiner, yeah.
Whoever your maid is, she and Sobin are off to the Barrowhead Clinic, leaving just you guys behind. What are you guys planning on doing?
Yeah, and then maybe, I don't know how long it takes to the university. Maybe we have a chance to still meet Professor Galbary there and just go there directly.
Yeah, I mean, he could be working late, I guess, if he's working on it as well. We could try before it gets too late.
Yeah, and I think that Saxon Thane will not attack us on the university grounds, so that's for sure.
So if he went to this thug, like you guys have faced a few adversaries who seem to have some pretty sprawling reach behind the scenes, does it strike you that Saxon has that?
Not so much, or he wouldn't be. He wouldn't need to employ people. So right now, I think he maybe hasn't, but I'm not so sure. I mean, although he was turned down by some unknown network that does not exist, it doesn't mean that he might not find other people who were eager to rough us up for money or burn down our house or something like that.
Hmm. Yeah, we haven't seen any evidence of them yet, but that doesn't mean they're not out there.
Mm.
Yeah, but nevertheless, so if we speak to Galbury, then probably we'll get another information or something.
And he was like guarding or looking after the children on his own, which you'd have thought he'd have got someone else to do maybe if he had other people. Don't know. We've only ever encountered him on his own, really, haven't we?
Yeah, and we could wonder why he took the children in the first place. So, what does he know about himself, in a way? So
yeah, but yeah, we'll try the university. It's worth a go, isn't it?
Okay. So then, if you guys pile into the vehicle and are heading out to the university, any other preparations or things you wish to collect from the house? Now, one thing because we don't hand out, by we I mean me, because I don't hand out gear. You guys don't, have the usual slate of like healing potions and things like that. But I think it's not unreasonable to think that you may have some supplies of that if you wish to bring them along. Especially if you know that you may be encountering violence. So, there's your
got a couple of those that I can make. I make each morning, so I'll give one of them to Basil and Sally.
Sure.
Only gives you 10 hit points. But...
Oh, are the alchemical stuff?
Normally everything goes well in our fights. We don't normally have a problem.
Yep.
Yeah.
Especially if you're not there.
I thought that fight went very well.
Yeah, you did exceptionally well, I thought.
Yeah. I was thinking that so before the session that somehow Basil has his hidden stash of like drugs or something to enhance combat that is never used.
That's our Traveler campaign.
Yeah, that's. I mean, he was in the military and somehow he survived. So
no, that absolutely makes sense. Let me see here. Is it in the GM core? I thought that all that gear was in the player core. No, it's in GM. Huh. That's very old school of them.
They need a selling point for the GM core as well.
Yeah, fair enough. I was seeing the hex crawl. It's just a non sequitur, but because we did hex crawling in our Kingmaker campaign for PF2, we in our PF1 campaign we're playing on alternate Fridays. We used the hex crawling rules from Ultimate Wilderness for the first time. And they're fucking awesome. They're really, really fun and really flexible, and like they integrate really well with the skill things. It's a shame they didn't carry over more of what was in that to the PF2 stuff, but can't let me hear. Potion elixirs. Here we go. No. Potions. You guys want to take some death? Is it snake oils?
Mm-hmm. I mean, there is this kind of thing where you can maybe conjure a large snake. That would be very helpful.
Here we go, healing potion. So let's say each of you will have one moderate healing potion, and I think you should be able to drag and drop it from the compendium in this game. So 1 moderate healing potion. Make sure you're getting the remastered version, because I think it probably will display both. Should check here.
Items.
Healing potion. Yes, so it'll tell you GM core. It is moderate healing potion. Is you want to get 1 of those, and let's say 3 lesser healing potions, all both from GM core. I think you're digging into Basil's, old. You probably have your military chest. It's not a war chest per se, but whatever your unit insignia on the outside of it, and within there, Basil is distributing out some healing supplies. Is it working to drag and drop, guys?
Yep.
Fucking great. Nice.
Yep.
Inventory. This one says GMC. Okay.
Okay. Oh, the familiar is present.
Yep, she's back. She likes her attention. Don't you?
Oh, they're both? Oh, that's great. All right. Then what you guys will find is, as you're making your way out, are there any other preparations or discussions you guys need to have?
Is the where we found Saxon, is that en route to the university, or is it in the opposite direction?
Probably a different direction.
Okay. At some point I wanted to swing by and see if Igor's remains are, if there's anything I can pick up. And
I mean, it wouldn't take an inordinate amount of time to do that if that's what you'd like to do.
Well, just to see if he's not there, and if there's any remains still there.
Sure.
Just
so,
work on.
Tell us what kind of caution you're going to take in order to approach this.
Well, we could send someone sneaky in to investigate. Oh no, better not do that. That didn't go too well last time.
Away.
I think I would stop, pretty much outside and keep the motor running, sort of thing, and just
gonna race in.
Just see if the door's still open and whether there's signs of any sort of life in there.
Okay.
Or if he's relocated.
Let's go and blow the bloody doors off.
Okay, let's see here.
So I won't be quiet or anything. If I hear anything, then I'll probably just exit.
Okay. Just getting something set up here. I'm sure it's nothing untoward. Don't worry. Don't worry, guys. Stop worrying. You seem like you're worrying. Don't worry. Okay. So, stopping outside there, would you give us... Let's head on over to that map then. Let's grab everybody. There we go. And I got to use the splitting maps thing last night. That was fun.
Nice and simple.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys require anybody to indulge in relentless murder. Ingolf has kind of mastered that with Zweihander now.
Yeah. The same was with Blackbirds when we played, so I don't know. I always end up with this murder killer character.
Ingolf's a bit of a murder hobo.
It brings out the worst in him, obviously.
Yeah.
Well, I still have the theory that everybody has a game that just clicks with them mechanically, and I think Ingolf, I believe it's the Powered by Zweihander games for you. So you roll incredibly well. Okay, so you guys pull up out front. Would you, if you're just planning on, like, you're heedlessly kind of running in to try and grab what you can and get out? Or are you reconnoitering it all
Pretty
first?
much. I mean, is the door still open and sort of how we left it, or is it?
If you pull up front first,
yeah,
that it appears as if it's the same. There is still evidence of the kind of, I think there may be members of the constabulary that are here actually, because it was not a small thing, and this was not a out of the way. This place had more traffic to it than before. Not like it's not a considerable presence, but it's like a small contingent of 4 that seem to be asking folks information.
Any of them that I would recognize, or are they just?
Why don't you give us a
because we've met a few, but not
yeah,
that
you
many.
haven't. I think it's let's say history. That's sort of the like knowledge local skill.
I don't think we've got history, have we?
Oh, is that not a skill?
Well, society.
Society is what I'm thinking of. Thank you.
Yeah.
Society you use for history.
Yep.
Come on, Madison, get on the game.
Oh, good one.
You actually recognize this guy as one of the ones who, I think it is one of the ones who was involved in the church, the murder that happened after the church fire.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Give us a D6 roll. On a 4 or higher, it would have been one of the ones who found you innocent. You remember this guy. He very much seemed to think that you were that you got off on account of, bamboozling someone else. He did not seem pleased that they had to stop investigating you for murder.
And he seems to be running this little operation, does he?
Correct, yeah. He is the DI here, if you will.
I'll try and ask one of the other officers or policemen without... I mean, he's bound to notice me, but I'll try and ask one of the others first. You wouldn't have happened to have found a machine in there, would you?
Sure. Give us a diplomacy check, please, Doctor. And you do see, like, if you do actually approach them, you'll be able to see that the door still is busted open.
Yeah, I'm gonna try that again. I think
you go right ahead. Everyone gets another hero point as well. It's 12:30 my time.
Oh yeah, that's so great.
Shall I bust in there and say, "Excuse me, lads, excuse me"?
You can try and aid at this point, but I mean,
I can try and aid, but okay.
Yeah, not much. Go ahead and give us a diplomacy check. So it's a crit, so it's plus. What's your level of training in diplomacy?
Trained.
Trained, so that's a plus 18, unfortunately, still not great. So not a crit fail, but not great. So as the two of you make your way over, you notice that the door is still busted open, and one of the guys looks over and kind of, "Can I help you, sir?" He looks at Sally, he looks at you, looks at his notes, like as if he's trying to put something together here.
I was hoping to retrieve something of mine, I believe, in the premises.
Our premises was a presence of a crime recently, sir. Are you saying you own that premises?
Someone stole something from me.
Oh, really, sir? He makes a big flourish of getting his pad out, flips the page over. What was your name, sir?
My name is Adam Ersprung, Dr. Adam Ersprung.
Adam Ersprung, as you say?
That's correct.
Yous was in the paper recently. Famous you are. Got a face that you remember.
That has been said before.
Down. And then Sally, this is sort of when you would come in and try and say something. Can I help you, madam?
Yes. We're just needing to get a few things of our things. You surely understand.
And what was your name, madam?
My name is Sally Dumer.
Sally Dumer. Name doesn't sound Paridar to me.
I'm not, though I have been living here quite some years. Very much the resident.
Admits not born in Paridar.
I was spawned elsewhere.
Spawned indeed, madam. Now, what is it you think you've got in there, doctor and madam?
A machine of my construction.
Oh, and what kind of machine is that you've constructed? I thought you was a doctor.
I also dabble in inventing. It's a sort of
You's an experimental surgeon, then. It explains your face.
No. I've
no disrespect meant, sir.
I created a construct. A thing can walk. Machine.
He is an expert on the living form, and therefore he is able to transfer that knowledge into machinery. He's most cutting edge, bringing new things to Paridar.
And where's he been putting that cutting edge?
It was stolen by that Saxon fellow. Zane Saxon.
And who's this? Was he industrialist?
Yeah, he's, I believe he works in such mechanical systems himself. Maybe he was trying to copy some of my work. I don't know. I believe my machine is in that building. If you would let me have a look.
You think Zane Saxon's been residing here, stealing your inventions? I've got... Sir, in spite of my youthful looks, I was not born yesterday. And he begins furiously writing down what you've told him. This is not the inspector incident. You can see him in the background. You haven't critically failed, so he's sort of busying himself at a distance with other folks, so you have not yet drawn his attention.
Maybe we could go in and you could have a look for yourself.
It's a crime scene.
Yep.
Have you been there when there was a crime? Do you know anything about what's been done there?
Well, no, I haven't been in and looked for myself, but...
Go ahead and give us a... Deception?
Deception.
Roll, please.
Deception? Oh, here we go. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Pretty good.
Going well.
Oh, I love this so much.
Do you want to...
I think he's got to the point where he thinks it's stacked up against him that I think he might give up. So
Basil, you can overhear all this happening. And like, here's the one upside to what's happening is that it does seem that all the constables are currently occupied either with other people or being well and truly distracted by Dr. Ursprung and Ms. Dumer.
Yeah, I think I will sneak in. Come on.
Go ahead and give us a stealth check, please.
What could go wrong? I mean, I could critically fail, I suppose. No, that's not so much.
So Basil gets sick of waiting. We see a little, flicker in the shadows, and he is inside. Basil, you're able to collect everything that you need. So, however, that does represent currently a critical fail. Ms. Dumer, would you like to try and help out with the lie?
I will try and hit it.
Okay.
What are you?
Okay, so that's a success, which gives +1, which will get it out of the critical fail range.
Doctor, what are you talking about? Pay no attention to it.
What do you mean, pay no attention? I'm not supposed to believe what he's been saying.
I'll be brushing things off his front of his jacket. He's so upset about the events.
I understand this is a crime scene, and obviously we can't interfere, so we'll just have to... I'll come back to the police station and see if you've retrieved my machine at a later date once you've had a chance to do whatever you need.
If you witness a crime, you should be providing a statement, sir.
I didn't witness anything. I've just said he stole it, and it was my understanding that he was in this residence.
He narrows his eyes. Your 13 is looming large over you. You just said you seen it, sir.
No, I said he'd stolen it.
You said he stolen it, and then he flips back. Then you said that you seen what's in there.
No, I said you need to come in with me, and you will see if it's in there. That's all I was asking. If we
give
could
us another deception check. Let's see if you can
at least have a look.
Speaking of gaslighting. So as he's like, there's a brief moment of him flipping back through, and then he listens to what you say, flips through his notes, flips back through his notes. I
was asking, have you seen it in there? Not I've seen it. Have you seen it in there, my good man?
Hey. Well, never mind. If you need to be collecting these supplies, you need to cut it at District Office 7. If you bring proof of ownership, you'll be able to collect what you need from it. And if you have no other business, you should go on. This is a crime scene.
I understand. I'm sorry to take up so much of your time. I'm sure you're very busy.
Quite busy. And you see, he is not. He is the guy who stands at the fucking door and he's like, can't go in there. Can't go in there. So, he is well and truly, like, if you choose to leave him at that point, what you'd maybe hear is a whistle from Basil that'll indicate to you that, you know, he's done what he needed to do in there. You can hear this guy muttering as he's flipping through furiously through his... There's a reason this guy did not pass the sergeant's exam, it seems, because you've completely bamboozled him. He goes back to standing in there, and anybody who gets within any, distance of, or standing near the entrance, anyone who gets anywhere close to it, he kind of sends them on. And you can see at a distance that the inspector, the DI who was... not pleased with you after the church fire, that he seems to have been completely oblivious to whatever's going on.
Yeah, I think we'll get in the car and drive around the back of this place or whatever alley that connects, that we can meet Basil.
Sure. I think Basil, he rolled pretty well. He could even be back in the carriage with your, like, what could be salvaged already there.
Oh, even better.
Yeah. So then, off to the university.
Yep.
So I don't think we have one. I've been using. Where are we here? Well, we'll say the streets of Paridar look remarkably similar. And, oh, here we go. Let's use this one. All right. So, as you guys arrive at the campus, it's evening, so you can see it's not as busy as it typically is when you were here, but it does, seem that there are a lot of folks who are... There's still, it's not a ghost town. There's still people who are off to night classes or who are going to their, laboratories or study groups or, whatever kind of social activities or clubs that they may be going in. It seems as if there is a pretty, on one of the big grounds that you typically cross in order to get to the College of Magic. You guys would see that there is as is seemingly the case this summer, any open field or open park kind of turns into a viewing thing for the falling stars throughout the summer. So there's a pretty big group of students who have collected out there who seem ready to enjoy this evening's show, as it were. When you arrive back at the College of Magic, you find that I think the main door would still be open, but it is pretty close to a ghost town in here until you reach the offices of the professors. And once again, I want to say Nancy, but I can't remember if that was her name. his department secretary. She answers, and she is delighted to see Ms. Dumaire once again. Because
Lovely to see you, dear.
you may recall she was a huge fan. So the three of you walk in, and she's looking up, and this is late for her to be here. It seems it's now dark, and she looks up and says, "Oh, Miss Dumaire, what a pleasant surprise!"
And lovely to see you again, dear.
Oh, thank you.
You're working late? Are they working your fingers to the bone again?
Oh, it's not my fingers that are being worked. It's the professor. He's been working on a project from your Mr. Rathbone, I understand.
Oh, that's very kind of him to be doing such a thing, working so diligently.
Indeed.
Must have him entertained, I suspect.
Oh, most assuredly. Professor Galberry, is a very pleasant individual to work for, particularly given his profession. And I'm not sure I've seen his otherwise enthusiastic disposition as engaged as it is with this problem. He has our entire pool of grad students working on this project. Is that what brings you here?
By chance, yes.
Then allow me to please. And she gestures, and she hands off to go and speak to Dr. or Professor Galberry. She returns, and she says, "Professor Galberry will be here. There's a lecture hall he thinks it would be best to meet in." Or maybe his office, actually, I think. He says said to wait for him in his office. He will come back with his to speak. And we had canapes brought in for the students for their working. Would you care for some food as well?
That would be delightful. Gosh, canapes for your students? Aren't you the flash ones?
Our funding is quite generous. So she will leave. You guys make your way into Professor Galberry's office, and this again is that, jam-packed thing full of all these exotic items and strange books and whatnot. And she comes back first with your food and some drinks. So you have some everyone's got an uncorked, or not uncorked, unclasped, I guess, beer. And then Professor Galberry will come in next after about a 10-minute break, and he's got a kind of a sheaf of papers with him. As a reminder, that is Professor Galberry. So he walks in once again.
Good evening. I did not expect to see you three. Not this soon in particular. We have not yet completed our studies, though we have some fascinating early conclusions or suppositions. Have you had more info? My goodness, you look as if you've been in a fight.
Yeah, I think we are happy that we meet again, because this tulpa seems to be much more powerful than we imagined.
Oh.
Like lethal.
He moves behind his desk, he grabs a canapé, sits down, and then he sets out a piece of paper. He collects some spectacles from his desk and prompts him on the bridge of what is not his nose, but the bridge of his face.
Please, tell me everything and leave nothing out. It's difficult to judge what could be. When you say powerful, what do you mean by that?
Like he has unhuman strength. It's vicious, like fighting. I don't know, like a bear or something.
That would be expected. If he is a creation of will and thought, it would be only the imagination that would limit such power.
So we talked to the creator of the machinery.
Indeed.
And yes.
That was Dr. Babwell.
Dr. Babwell, yeah. And Dr. Babwell is now in some induced coma. because there was some kind of connection between him and this tulpa.
Did Dr. Babwell provide any schematics or drawings?
No, because he can't remember building the machine. It seems to be part of the spell that is powering all this that he forgot. He's absolutely sure he's the only person who was able to build such a machine, but he can't remember anything about it.
That is.
He did spend a few hours trying to see if there was any way of reversing the process or doing something to help us to disconnect one of the machines or safely shut it down. But
have you those notes?
I think if we have notes, then we have brought them with us.
Yeah, because he's not going to use them when he was sedated. So, Dr. Earthsprung, I'm fine with you having collected those in the event.
I mean, I'll show him to him, but he never finished his work. He seemed to be going in circles and not getting anywhere. We were very concerned for his health, and we thought if we sedated him, it may extend his life.
Your concern for his health is not unfounded, Doctor. From what we have discerned, there seems no question that his life is linked to this ritual. The pact. It is a very dark and potent form of magic. And while we had discussed the possibility of tricking it, I am not certain that would be possible. It is a cost that will be paid one way or the other. However, the binding, that may not... This is all, of course, speculative, you must imagine. But we think we could redirect the binding to something else, though it would need be willing in order for the shifting of the invocation to be binding. But I have no doubt that if the invocation, if the ritual is concluded, Dr. Babwell will die in manifesting Mr. Saxon, the Tulpa. And whoever replaced would meet the same fate. We will study these drawings.
But we have another problem or something we don't understand. So
yes,
what happened was, so we wanted to get Babwell to safety, and then Sane showed up at his house, kidnapped his children, and we were barely able to get them out of his hands while being alive. What's this kind of, what is the motivation? We don't even understand why he needed the children.
What impetus would he have to take such drastic steps? He was not aware that you had met with Dr. You spoke of a connection between the two before. Could he have learned of your return and involvement?
That is possible, but still, his children are innocent in a way, and
most assuredly.
So, I mean, if he came to our office and tried to kill us, I could understand that. But the other thing I can't understand. And he actually hid with the children. It was quite complicated to find him.
You would have more experience with such things than I, but is it not a simple proposition that if you kidnap someone, you wish to gain something?
Yes, that's exactly the point.
What would he gain from taking the children, other than obviously influence, potentially, over Dr. Babwell?
Yes.
Why not?
That is yeah.
Does
But if
he
you
know?
take them,
Does
yeah?
he know of the machine?
We don't think.
Most curious. So both Dr. Babwell has a blindness to the machine, as does Mr. Saxon.
Mm-hmm.
I fear that is the hand of my former student.
We thought so, yes.
One who has been convinced to create the machine, one created from the machine, but the connecting hand unknown to either of them.
Yes.
Could it be that he took the children to find that answer? To find what Dr. Babwell was doing, or what he had learned? Is
Maybe.
Mr. Saxon aware of his vulnerability?
I think on an instinctive level, at least, yes.
Those acting on instincts rarely exercise a great deal of forethought. And the desperation of kidnapping children does not speak to a great deal of forethought.
No, it does not.
Did you tell him, so as a reminder, one of the things that was very unnatural that you guys got hit with was with that paralytic rage. Dr. Ursprung was affected by that, and Goldeye was affected by that.
Yeah.
Basil, you were not.
Yeah. But I think maybe, I mean, Adam is there, so he could.
Yeah, as I'm saying, like if you think you would have told him about when Basil was telling him about the unnatural things.
Yeah, I will bring it up. So another thing that this Saxon, or this Tupa, he had this power to almost paralyze us with a scream.
How did you feel, Juan?
I don't know. Was it fear or was it
Fury?
fury? So he froze us with his rage, his fury. Lost control temporarily.
In theory, a tulpa is a creation of will. A figment, quite literally, brought to flesh. Without the ritual concluded, that figment may remain unstable. What you may be exposed to is the heart of what Saxon is.
So he's a creature of emotion, a creature of rage.
Indeed. A tulpa would not be a creation of only conscious will, but the subconscious impulses as well.
But who's so? Is the rage that's inside this creature? Is it from its creators? So, is it maybe the rage that Babwell had, or is it a rage that Gwendolyn Fallow could provide, or is it something that just happens to be part of the spell?
An interesting question. I would postulate that the tulpa, in particular, the intermeshing of the core of Mr. Babwell, Dr. Babwell, and Mr. Saxon. He is truly a creation of Saxons. No doubt in part influenced by his own feelings, whether overt or concealed, but it is also its own thing. It has manifested as a creation of his conscious and unconscious wills. The extent of Gwendolyn's influence appears to be in the nature of the binding, the consuming of Dr. Babwell. While I do not doubt, given her the revelations of her black heart, that she would wish something like this, I think this a happy coincidence that she got something as monstrous as this tulpa from Dr. Babwell's mind. But such instability also suggests weakness. The ritual has not concluded yet. He is not something made form. I would suspect, Dr. Earthsprung, when did this occur?
The screaming? Or the...
Yes, the rage you spoke of. When did you last feel that?
It would have been within like 2 hours.
It's earlier today, maybe 2 or 3 hours ago.
And he kind of cracks his fingers. Might I scry? So he gestures, and there's a kind of a image that forms, that solidifies, and he's looking, and you can see there's a similar, circular kind of form that forms in the air is matched in his eyes as he is looking at you.
It is quite faded. I think, Doctor, if the theories I have read of the tulpa are correct, what you experienced was inadvertent. It was not a spell or other formal invocation. It was simply instinctive leaking and lashing out, a psychic spasm, if you would. It means that he is most dangerous at present, and if he is in such an agitated state still, you may find a wake of similar outbreaks in his path. It may not show where he is, but if others were caught in those spasms, there would be a wake of violence in his path.
Okay, so you mean we need to stop him as fast as possible? Because he would be like a raging bull running through the street.
He kind of sits back in his chair and realizes what you're asking. The circles fade from his eyes.
This is one way our professions differ, Mr. Rathbone, and I find myself quite unequipped for this.
Yeah, I was not necessarily talking about killing him, but my idea is more: can we, if we could paralyze him or something like that, could we, I don't know, freeze the process? Because as I understand, it's like this: someone has to give his life here.
Someone will. Indeed, to see it. And my comment, Dr. Moore, is less in relation to... I hope I did not imply that yours was a bloody business and mine involved clean hands. What I intended is, we have the benefit. Those who refer to our profession as a tower are not incorrect in that we look at what is and what might have happened, consider and discuss such things. We rarely speculate on what should or must occur. And I find myself able to provide you with an answer as to what paths lie before you. I cannot say what should be done. And I am sorry for that. We are quite certain that we can effect changes to the invocation such that it will be linked to someone else. And I am quite certain that the Tulpa, Mr. Saxon, technically, if such abstractions are of value, it is technically correct to refer to him as the Tulpa now, as he is not yet truly Mr. Saxon. The final insight I can offer is every indication we have found suggests that if this ritual, given the growing instabilities in Paridar, given the damage to the Spires, we cannot speculate. We don't know what will happen if the machine is simply destroyed.
Okay.
I think there is no question that the Tulpa will cease to exist. I think that it likely that Dr. Babwell will die if he remains tethered to it.
Mm-hmm.
But I cannot say what the after effects may be. It seems to be doing the laws it has broken as we knew them for metaphysics has already placed us well and truly into an unknown country.
Okay.
But whether during the... I say this not as a professor of conjuration. I say this as a lifelong inhabitant of Paridar. Whether destroyed before the completion of the ritual or afterwards, this machine must be destroyed. Forgive me. One would think me a professor of theater with how I've run on. Tell me, have you any questions?
I have one regarding the binding that you talk of between the machine and Mr. Babwell. What if, before the ritual was completed, Mr. Babwell was to die?
If he was to die, I would
before
think...
the ritual.
Like a coal engine starved of fuel, I would think it would sputter out. And he looks through the notes. Indeed, if he... Depending on the nature of the binding, it seems possible that it requires his living presence to nurture. If you think of it as your machines, I expect the automaton you bring with you sometimes, I expect that the intent to fuel that in some way involves the measured addition of fuel in order to affect the proper function of the engine, correct?
Indeed.
I expect if you replace that fuel with a much more energetic material and suddenly added it at once, the engine would fail. Is that correct?
If it was overloaded, if you want to call it that, yes.
So then, the metaphysical energy the ritual is drawing from him, if you think of that as a form of vampiric soul titration, slowly adding drips, if his soul was suddenly untethered and cast into the engine of the ritual, that may confound it altogether. Or, if there was a comparable spirit, if it was bound to such thing, such that it was knowledgeable and willing to participate, it would then be cast in and effect the same change. Not for nothing, guys. You happen to have a former employee.
Yeah, I was thinking that. Yeah. So Matthias Ducard would be the one.
Matthias Ducard is a untethered spirit who does have a consciousness and, in theory, could agree to this. Professor Galder is not aware of that, but...
What effect would it have on him then? It wouldn't...
Most... We are only speaking of speculation. Almost certainly he would be utterly annihilated.
Oh, that's not good.
Indeed. But Those are the circumstances, as I view them. Do you guys mention Matthias Ducard or Sepulcher?
Yeah, I mean, we could definitely mention him. I was wondering if we, literally stopped his life for a minute, whether that would, like, break him free, stop the ritual, and then restart him, sort of thing,
So physically, you would what you would probably, between your occultism and your medical knowledge, it would be like the body would start again, but the soul would be gone. Likelihood. So whatever the metaphysical portion of his soul, that's what's fueling the machine right now, or the ritual, as far as Dr. Goldberry is concerned. And one thing to mention, Sepulcher and Matthias's connection is an absolutely unique connection, just like the rest of you guys. This is another one of these things that was unanticipated. The event that led Henri to become a Dampier, and for the fusing of Sepulcher and Matthias. No. Is that right?
Yeah, I think
Matthias.
Matthias Ducard? Yeah, it is. That likewise is unique. So who knows whether it may drag him in, Sepulcher may anchor him, but it's an unknown pairing.
And if we mention it, that's basically what he says. It's sort of unknown, and
yeah, like if you explain what happened, that some artillery shell went off and his body died and he was somehow fused with it. There's all sorts of magical oddities that came from that war, and there's just the fact that they haven't been taken by the 9th Medical Corps and experimented on or studied is something. It may mean that they're just not they don't know how the hell. He's a haunted automaton, effectively. So he doesn't know, and without conducting actual magical divinations or scryings on him, difficult to say.
But they feel that they could be able to swap the person if we found someone suitable.
We are quite confident, yes.
Yeah, but I mean, who volunteers? And if they volunteer, would he allow us to volunteer someone else instead of him? As far as we told, when we talked to him, he was always telling us that it was, I don't know, his kind of his punishment or something like that. So it was his thing to bear and not someone else to be punished for him.
But he shouldn't be punished for his forward thinking and his brilliance. I mean, he's been a
no, he was likely to be punished for a pact he made with Gwendolyn Fallow, who he is now unaware of, but he made.
Well, if he made that pact, we don't even know that, do we?
Well, we have at least his handwriting.
Yeah, from the tone of the letters.
Oh, we know he's spoken to her, but he obviously didn't know what he was getting involved in. How much he knew, yeah, well, it's unknown, I guess. It could be more than.
I don't know what we if we wake him up and ask him, then we will have Saxon with us in a short time.
If he recognizes where we are,
yeah,
we could hide that, I guess.
I'm not so sure. So, but we were a little bit concerned that manifesting the tulpa itself would not be the only thing that the machine is doing, but the machinery would go on and on and on and keep working and alter reality even further than finishing this tulpa.
Well, the machine's powering the ritual at the moment.
Yeah,
So once the
it's a
ritual
singular.
finishes, it'll probably shut down, I would imagine. But then it'd be used again.
That's correct. And that's what Professor Galbraith's concern is as well, is that once it is powered to do this one thing right now, but it could be set to do something different next time.
Yeah.
And not to be... As far as you know, it hasn't been used to change anything else either, but that is... It's not inconceivable that it was used, something else was done to test it first before the creation of Saxon. You would never know.
But I thought it was like this, that the machine was not powered by Babel, but it was more like something they did into the ritual, which was not, which wouldn't have to be there. That was our first impression somehow.
He didn't need to be connected to it. That was just to like get rid of the ties, I guess, to any sort of connection.
For the creation of a tulpa, he would need to be connected in some ways. It was unnecessary to kill him.
Well, yeah, okay. So
yeah.
Okay.
But all it's doing, from my understanding, is powering the ritual. It's just constantly powering the ritual because someone else would have to do that otherwise.
Yeah.
Because it's such a powerful thing they're doing, I don't think anyone would be able to do it for that length of time constantly, and that's what it's doing. It's powering it.
So and the other one was we could try to shut it down by overpowering it, like if we would switch it to someone who has taken the vampiric serum, who had already died and
someone
came back.
Who has a vampiric serum would still have the metaphysical presence, the soul, to tether it to. And but they would eventually die as well.
Okay.
Although it's unknown what... one thing he hasn't commented on, but you likely have an insight into Dr. Ersprung. Basil, do you have training in occultism too?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, so both of you guys would also know. The tulpa is a creation of will, and that's a lot of the physical stuff is tied to him. It's unknown what other stuff might bleed in depending on who it's connected to. So they may have an inadvertent influence until the ritual concludes over what will become Mr. Saxon.
So, I mean, that would be, like, convince him to make a very nice and likable Mr. Saxon.
You most certainly could. If someone was so inclined to do that, has a great, more benevolent subconscious, it's possible.
Yeah,
I mean, he would go from being Ebenezer Scrooge to being Willy Wonka.
Yeah, something like. Well, I mean, if there is someone who's terminally ill or something, we could hope.
Yeah, I guess it's finding someone quickly enough and willing to partake.
You don't happen to have any of your patients who are already on the brink, on the brink of death somehow or something?
Not that I'm aware of. I have to check in with Mr. Risewell.
Yeah, there's those lady who used to collect flowers and it's very fond of rabbits and so on, and she's now terminally ill.
Basil is not normally this squeamish.
Yeah, I think
Everybody dies one day.
Yeah, okay. So, do you want to volunteer, Sally?
Yeah. I'd short it out with my aquaticness.
I guess the other question, too, just one thing the party would have to consider is, do you trust your own subconscious?
Yeah, I mean,
because you're opening yourself up not just to your conscious will, what you think you want or what you hope you want. It's going to be right down to the core of your being.
yeah, I think we should take Adam.
He did think about it. He has considered it.
Yeah. So he would be the only one who I would trust to be nice enough and willingly enough to do that. I think
That's what I was saying about the dying and coming back. You know, he would trust Dr. Risewell to like resuscitate him if he sort of knocked him out or like stopped his heart, as it were. But if it takes your soul as well, then there would be nothing left.
Does raise an interesting question, or at least I think it's interesting. Whose soul is in Dr. Ersprung?
Well, I don't know if it's either of them. I'm not quite sure how that works. Is it the inventor? Is it the doctor? Is it another? Don't know.
we don't know. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but Professor Gorbury, I think then we are at a kind of an impasse here. I don't know what to do now.
And he looks at you, you know, over his glasses, and he says, I have the deepest of sympathies for you.
Yes.
I do not envy your position. All I will say is that since we have not the courage to make that decision for you all, the least we can do is support whatever decision you do make. Whatever you choose to do, you will have the full support of our faculty and our discretion. We're a little late into it, but that seems like a good place for a mid-session break. Top up our drinks, and we'll come back and see what you guys choose to do next. So, for those listening at home, we'll be back in about 5 minutes.
Time to get canapes. Hello. You didn't want? Oh, you do. You do, because you're friendly boy.
Okay. Well, everyone will get a hero point too. I neglected to award that.
But we don't need a hero point. We need another soul.
So, we're just waiting for James. Okay. Hey, everybody at home. THX, hope your weekend is going really well. We've got a crap ton of snow over the last 3 days, but it is sun has finally come out again, so it's just gorgeous outside right now. Yeah. Unfortunately, it's really fucking cold. Minus 15 today. So with that kind of snow, like Anna Banana likes going and burying her. When it's milder, she'll go outside and bury her ball for fucking half an hour. But this is too cold for her little paws. She is not a husky. James, I'm not sure if you're back yet, but your camera is off. Well, let's put it in chat. He's getting those canapes ready.
Yeah.
I'm back.
You talk about eating all the time, so that makes one hungry.
Indeed. I have one. Yeah, nice. I have one leftover smash burger from Friday, so I can tear into that after this session. But what other questions, if any, do you have for Professor Galberry?
I guess we will come back when the deed is done in one or the other way.
Would you like... Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, I think it's given us all the information. It's not good information.
You wish the information on the ritual?
Yeah, do you have any that could help us?
We do. When it is ready, we will be of service.
Okay.
It will need to be performed at the... it would be best at the machine itself. We will be making changes to the etchings. They may not seem consequential, but they are an intrinsic part of the overall working. But we will come.
Okay.
unless there's anything else you guys wish to discuss with him, you guys can head back out to the buggy. Nancy, of course, says goodbye, Sally, and how pleased she was to see you again.
Delighted. Till next time, I'm sure we'll be back.
The big smile she gives you tells you she's delighted to hear that. But it's a long walk across. I think tell us what the mood is like among the Illuminators as you're making your way across that field, the students all having fun watching the lights in the sky.
Yeah, maybe. So Basil asks himself the question, what is all of this worth? So who has to die for all of that to exist?
Yeah, I think Adam will be just racking his brain. If he's silent, just racking his brain. You know, how can we trick it? How can we do this? How could we input? Like, could we put a soul into Igor? Or, you know, just anything that sounded probably stupid to him, but he's like brainstorming. Just, you know, could we remove his soul and put it back in after he's died? Or, yeah, just all these sort of weird and wonderful sort of stupid ideas. If he was being a bit more rational, probably. But racking his brain.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. There doesn't seem to be a good solution here.
I think it does make him think of Dr. Raycroft. And his involvement in maybe Adam's creation. We never got to the bottom of it, but maybe he was more involved than he knows. Where did he get his soul from? If he's made from people's bodies. If that's the missing ingredient, you know, that we need, a soul rather than a physical, just a body.
Okay, I think we will just go. I don't know where we're even going. I think back to the agency, I suppose.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. What's the mood like on the drive back?
Yeah, we are very cheerful now. No, not at all. I mean, it's like
It's just solemn.
I think it's solemn and it's a little bit depressing. Like, you know, so Basil has been to the war, and there's these times when you think that there are victims and sacrifices to be done, and that's not necessary, or that would have been not necessary if things had happened a little bit in another way, but they didn't.
So when you arrive back to the office, uncharacteristically, it is dark. No Sovin there, so no one to keep the lights on, no one to greet you at the door. It's a matter of going through and lighting each of the lights individually. The hearth is probably burned down. So it is a very strange times in the Illuminator's office. Oh, we've got you down as Golag, too. Sally had us realized. What is going on here? There we go. Is that the right one? There we are.
Yeah, so there was a volunteer, I see.
Well, Golag, do you disagree, Golag? No? There you go.
No, honestly, I think Golag is not to be trusted with these kind of things.
Zane may actually turn out worse. So,
Yeah. So he does practice necromancy. I mean,
So if we pair someone else with this Saxon, we've also got the issue of when the ritual completes, what else is they're going to have as powers, or because we've then got to defeat them. Is that what we're saying?
no, it wouldn't change anything. That person would die. The only difference would be that a Saxon now is a little bit different, but we can't defeat him. That's what I got from it. So
once the ritual's complete,
then we can defeat him. But I mean, yeah.
Unless that person, like I said, died before the ritual was completed.
Yeah.
But they'd have to be willing to connect and then
die
before the ritual was completed. Yeah. I mean, we have got the option of waking up Babwell and explaining that to him. But
yeah, and then basically ask him to die.
Well, we sort of had a sort of loose discussion about it before put him under, but
okay.
I did say I would do all I could, so I wouldn't want to do it without speaking to him if that was our only option. We could, see if there was anyone, like you say, in a hospital or something that's literally on their deathbed because of some illness or.
Yeah, but if I understood correctly, it would still cost them their soul, so they might not be willing to give.
Okay, yeah, I see.
That was his thing. If one, yeah.
And then Matthias, that's the same situation, isn't it?
Yes.
I mean, he's not looking. He's not. Does he ever come across that he wants to sort of go, and he's sort of stuck here? He's trapped. Is that how he looks at his existence?
I don't know if you've ever discussed it with him necessarily, but I mean, his body is destroyed. This isn't a matter of like someone who's displaced from his body and whatnot. He is truly a ghost that haunts a automaton.
But he's never we've never asked him, have we, if he's like feels like he's trapped and he's like cursed and forever in agony sort of thing, almost.
I mean, it can't, metaphysically speaking, it cannot be pleasant, right? And the dynamics that Matthias was the elder brother and Henri was the junior brother. The reason he approached you guys, or approached Golag, to give that information about the father, you may remember that was to try and help out Henri.
Yeah.
If it did come up at any point, or if you were to guess, it wouldn't be an unreasonable assumption to think that he is sticking around to help his brother. Because remember, he didn't choose to become a Dhampir either. He was experimented on during the war.
And where's his brother? Do we know?
Don't know.
He's the one that's still missing.
He went looking. It went inspecting the Guile father and his kids, and you've never seen him again.
Yeah.
Not for more than a year.
I was going to say it's a long while as well.
Matthias has also lost track of him.
Okay, so let's wake Babwell up. Talk to him, and then he can decide if he wants to die now or later, because he's going to die anyway.
But this is if not. I guess this is a bit of a philosophical question. It's not a matter of releasing the soul to go somewhere else, but
No.
it sounds like this would be destroying the soul
Yes.
utterly.
Yes, but his soul will be destroyed anyhow, if I understand correctly. It's only if it is consumed and the ritual is finished, or it will be consumed and the ritual is halted.
Unless it's swapped out, yeah.
Yeah.
And you don't think the Matthias thing is worth speaking to him? If we can find him.
We could try.
You have been in touch with Sepulcher lately, so finding him again.
Yeah.
Okay, then we can ask him.
Yeah, maybe we'll try and track him down. At least that gives us 2 options.
So, where do you wish to stay tonight, then? Are you staying in the Illuminator's office? I think the concern was... I mean, I don't think you guys expected to be spending the night here, necessarily, but... it doesn't seem that Mr. Saxon, is confused as to where to find you. He did hire IOU to spy on you directly, right?
Yeah.
Do you want to stay here, or you want to go elsewhere?
I guess we stay here, or we could stay at the clinic where we got the police looking out for it.
Sally Dumer, not to force a hand, but you have at least 2 other people who would happily welcome you into as temporary residents, and certainly have the space for it. Mrs. Hunter, and what's her name? Your friend, Ms. Lagrange.
But there is the danger they'd get involved.
Exactly, we might bring the wrath of...
If we're being watched.
Do you think you are right now? Well, I guess whether
I don't
Mr.
think so, but...
Yeah.
Yeah, I think maybe so someone could watch us now because we're back at the office. But nevertheless, I mean, don't we know where IOU resides?
You do not. You know where the Paridar Detective Agency is, but you didn't know anything about IOU until that. Yeah.
So
you know where to reach Sepulcher, though, and Sepulcher is where he is. So if you wish to contact him tomorrow, you could probably find him.
Yeah. Okay. So let's spend the night. Let's put on some guard. I don't know. I think we could. We could have watches, actually.
Yeah, I don't think Adam will be sleeping anyway. So I think he'll be sitting just working on Igor. He'll just sit in the front room, watch with the curtains open so he can just look out every so often while he's working on Igor.
Every time you drop a tool on the floor, you can just picture Sovin wincing at the marks he's going to have to buff out of that floor.
Yeah, you can worry about that another day.
I forgot what I was going to ask. Shoot, sorry. What was it? So Dr. Earthsprung is going to be working through the night and trying to keep an eye out. Basil and Sally, what are you intending on doing?
Try and get some sleep, if you can.
Yeah, that's one thing.
Well, you were quite badly beaten up, the 2 of you.
Yeah. Yeah, but I'm already almost fine again, you know.
Do you have a bucket or anything? Something I can sleep in?
Yeah, bathtub. Where you always sleep in.
No.
That's what
I thought we might be at the clinic, so...
No.
Oh, no, we've gone back.
No, I think Basil is out of. I'm sorry.
Well, sorry, I remember what I was going to ask. Is how long does it take to rebuild Igor?
Oh, it takes. I had it open. Hang on, let me have a look.
So wasn't it 24 hours?
Yeah, it's a long time. It's 1 day of downtime.
Okay.
So it'd just be starting on it. You know,
Okay.
He's not expecting to finish it, but it's to keep him sort of occupied.
Sure.
And he don't think he's going to sleep, so he's just going to work on that. So to keep him busy.
Okay. Basil, are you able to get some sleep?
Yeah, I think he's puzzled, and he's almost at the point where another even weirder option might be tempting. So he still has this ring.
That is true.
There might be the possibility that
The look on Darren's face is terrific.
Yeah.
And James as well, too.
yeah, I don't know. He's pondering, I guess.
What about Sally? Is she able to get some sleep?
Yes. Well, I think bother this is most unusual to get such a difficult opponent, and no easy solution. But the troubles of this dry land. I'm reassured that I get a bed that's actually armored, being an iron bathtub.
True. Then it is deep into the night when Doctor, I think you're probably, you've assembled the frame for Igor Mark 6, Mark 5?
I'm going 5. I'm not 100% sure, but
Okay.
I'm going 5.
So you were working through those, and it is about, it's difficult to tell. It is late in the hour when the only sounds are the sounds of your tools working and the sounds of the grandfather clock in the hall, kind of, I don't think pendulating is a word, but the things in it, the pendulum's moving back and forth. And what you hear first, which is discordant to the silence and the busyness of your work, and you think perhaps it's actually been there for some time before it you actually notice it. It's a growling. And not like a fearsome snarl, just a low, like, making you aware growling. And you see somehow manifesting out of the blackness, the deep shadows that are around you. 2 of these things slowly move forward. Their opaque white eyes trained on you. Their massive disfigured jaws sealed. You are mindful that you have wards in here to prevent this kind of thing from happening. And you look back and forth, and you can hear a voice come. You need not worry. They will not attack. I come only to speak. And it's a woman's voice. You cannot place where it is. And you hear from that voice, as I'm assuming you're kind of looking around. Outside, Doctor. And if you turn to look outside, standing, illuminated by one of the lights near that alleyway that is right across from your office. Gwendolyn Fallow.
Seriously, gotta kill him.
Okay.
If you wish not to speak, Doctor, I will depart.
So, she's outside, but I can hear her.
You can hear, it's as if her voice is coming from the shadows. Give us an occultism check, please.
Okay.
Satisfied with that, or?
No, I'm going to go again.
Okay.
Oh, it's even worse. Okay.
I think Professor Galberry put these wards up, and then either she knows how to defeat them, or something else is going on here with these hounds. These things are about the size of like a Great Dane. They have a fucking head that's like half the size of a adult human's chest.
The voice says it's not coming out of the hounds, is it? It's not being projected through the hounds, or
no? The voice just seems to be coming like if an unseen kind of like what's the word I'm looking for? Not broadcast system, but what's the word I'm looking for? Radio thing within a building.
Intercom, yeah.
Intercom, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
However, the way her eyes are locked with yours, you can picture you're illuminated in the... she may not even see you with a reflection of the gaslight on the windows outside of the... or the windows in the study. You can feel like she can see you.
And if I say something, if I say... my colleagues would like to speak to you too, does she hear it? Does she like answer?
I think them more prone to violence. You seem more reasonable, Doctor. Come.
So
join
with
me
that,
for a midnight stroll.
So with that, yeah, I'll take the opportunity because he's desperate to move this forward.
So if you step outside...
But he wants to make sure these hounds come out with him.
What you actually see is they just seem to meld into the shadows. And as you step outside, as you make your way down, pulling your coat on, you would see the hounds seem to manifest and walk like one at each side of her.
Okay, I don't want to leave them in there.
Basil, would you give us a perception check, please?
Mm-hmm. I will. I closed my character sheet, which was yeah.
Effective role-playing. I'm going to bed, so I'm going to close my sheet down. Oof, satisfied with that?
No, not at all.
Okay.
I will re-roll that.
Oh, it's 2 bells my time. Everyone gets...
Yeah.
Someone has stepped outside. And if you take a look outside, you will see Dr. Ersprong walking up towards... I think it was you who actually spied Gwendolyn Fallow at that first seance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so you know precisely who he is walking towards. The rebuilt Igor's not with him, and you can see there are 2 of those umbral hounds that have merged with her side. Dr. Ersprong does not seem under duress. His hands aren't up, but you can spy that he's going...
Yeah, I will rush out to Sally.
Okay.
And
Sally
is outside with Gwendolyn Fallow.
Dr. Ersprong.
To leap out?
She turns and walks down the alleyway into the darkness.
Yeah, I'll follow
her. You can see gestures, and it seems as if while there are lights you at first see at the other end of the alleyway, it seems to go into pitch blackness. So you're walking in utter darkness. Even your dark vision does not afford you any sense of where you are other than the alleyway until it opens, and what you find yourself walking into is a park. Give us a society roll, please.
Okay. Gosh, truth.
I guess it's not going to cause any damage. If you want to roll with the role-playing on it, you have no earthly idea where you are in Paridar.
Yeah, I think he'd just be focusing on her, basically. He'd just be watching her and going, where are we? And just sort of carry on. It
is the kind of... So it seems as if it's one of the more overgrown ones, and it certainly seems a more nicely groomed ones than the, say, like the Poverty Pond. Basil and Sally, what we would see you do if you rush out into the street and you run down the alleyway, there's no sign of where they went. Dr. Ersprong, you walk along with her, and she stops and stands before a bench and says, would you prefer to sit, Dr. Ersprung, or stroll?
Let's take a seat. We need to discuss things.
She sits down. I understand you met with my former mentor. I trust that Raleigh is keeping well.
Under the circumstances, yes.
You seem most disturbed. Dr. Ersprung, what weighs on your conscience, I wonder?
I think you probably know the answer to that. I'm sure you're involved in our current investigation with Mr. Zane Saxon.
I'm certain I know nothing of what you speak. But what I know is it would be so much easier, and you would be so unburdened by simply leaving this alone. You have Babwell at your clinic. Give us a perception check. Please.
Yep. I'm going to try that again. I want to try and work out if she actually knows that.
She does not know.
The doctor's safe.
Good. Good. Mr.
For
Saxon.
now.
We do not know one another, Dr. Ersprung, but I know something of you. I understand you wish to help. I understand you wish to do no harm. What you need do to absolve yourself of this and to have this burden off your shoulders is quite easy. Dr. Ersprung, you need only Adam. You need only do nothing further. Keep him wherever he is, and these matters will come to their inevitable conclusion. You can collect your pay, and you can go on, pursuing your next mystery.
What are you going to benefit from this? Why are you doing this? What have you got against Babwell, and what do you gain from this, Saxon?
Many questions, and I feel you have not offered anything in return. In an effort of good faith, Dr. Ersprung, I will answer one of your questions, and rest assured, I will answer it truthfully. And I expect when you have your answer, you will do what is necessary to extricate yourselves from this. If you persist in what you are doing, Doctor, there is so much you have to lose, and so much harm that could befall those whom you care of. So I offer this gift. Consider and ask me your question. You notice now that her eyes, now that you're sitting down, they were not like this before. They're pitch black.
There is a lot of questions I'd like to ask.
What's your favorite meal?
Yeah.
He really wants to ask about Saxon, but I think instinctively he would be concerned why Babwell. Why does Dr. Babwell have to die?
We cannot have more than one of this device active, can we?
But he has no knowledge of it. He doesn't remember building it. Why does he have to die?
Genius is a thing that culminates in a masterpiece. As an engineer, I expect you'll appreciate this. Genius, once that masterpiece is achieved, has only to fade. We would spare him the inevitable decline that will come with his genius. You need not make another perception check. You can obviously tell she's lying a little bit there. Not fully. She does seem to believe some of that, maybe even most of that, but there is an element of untruth there.
Yeah, it's massively exaggerated.
I have answered your question. She stands up. You are taller than I expected. This is Dr. Ersprung, my one and only warning. I've heard the papers speak of you as a kind of genius too, Doctor. Adam. What will be your masterpiece, I wonder, and is it already behind you? I trust you can find your way back. A pleasure to meet you, Dr. Ersprung. Her eyes are back to normal now. She turns and kind of walks along, passes under the shade of a tree, and does not reemerge.
Yeah, he'll spend a bit of time sort of looking around for her, in the hope that
you eventually find a cab. You're able to flag it down, and you figure out where you are. It is about an hour before whatever things you've done, Sally and Basil, to try and track Adam down. He arrives back home within about an hour. Adam, what do you share?
Miss Fallows came to our office and wished to speak to me, to warn us off, not to get involved with this and walk away, let the ritual complete, even though she said she had nothing to do with it, which is obviously a lie.
She might not remember.
She said that Babwell has to die. I asked her why, and she said he has to die because of his brilliance and what effect it would have, and he'd want to build more machines, and she was lying. But she wants us to stop, but I don't think we can.
No.
But she is more powerful than we think. She seems to disappear at will. She summons creatures out of the shadows, even in our, what I believe to be protected premises, from such creatures of shadows. She controls the lights in the streets. It almost felt like she transported us somewhere in the city. It took me quite some time to work out where I was and get back here. She is very powerful with her magic.
It's most disturbing what she's capable of.
Basil, would you give us a occultism roll, please?
Yeah. I'm not so much impressed by her magic. I'm more of the opinion that she has a spy in the university.
So you can picture this conversation is taking place in the study. While you were lying in bed, Basil, and you were playing over the ring in your hand,
Yeah.
you could not help but spot that because of Sovin's absence right now, there is a small spider web that had accumulated. Nothing consequential, just a small little cobweb that he did not pay attention to. And sitting here now, looking at the lattice work of your conspiracy board, the red string running across it, a thought occurs to you. Dr. Gallberry spoke of the connection between the soul of Dr. Babwell and the soul of Mr. Saxon. Why are the sister and the two kids seemingly unaffected? Because they're in some way, by not being affected by the creation of the tulpa, they're involved in the ritual, are they not? Because if the ritual affected a change that affected everybody, it should have affected those three as well, right?
Yes.
So, why? What is it about the ritual that has led those three to be, while connected to Babwell, unaffected?
Yeah, we thought that's of the blood or something. It's their close connection, their close blood connection to Babwell.
None of them are ill, are they? In any way, they haven't shown any signs of illness. They're not directly connected like Babwell.
You said none of them are ill or none of them are real?
Ill. We don't know of anyone else that's seen through it either, have we?
No.
We haven't come across anyone.
Yeah, you remember in the first thing I was of the opinion that maybe our employer was itself the tulpa, or she was kind of crazy. But
The sister, you mean?
yeah, because she was
Originally,
weird. Yeah.
So it's, I mean, they are the only ones that sort of, share DNA or blood or whatever with him.
Is there some similarity of souls within a family? No, not something heard of.
I mean, there are definitely curses that are carried down by generations. There are definitely certain magics that attribute power to the blood, which is just another way of saying a power of the connection between families.
Yeah.
And whatever Miss Fallow's intentions may be, and however dark some of his subconscious impulses are, do you think that Dr. Babwell's subconscious influence over this ritual is only for the worse?
No. I mean, it's clear that so people that are close to him are maybe in a way protected, but that did not stop. Or, I mean, it would be really a kind of a twist. So just imagine now that Saxon Sane was not trying to hurt the children or to use them, but to protect them from us.
What? Because he was acting on behalf of Babwell?
No, because his instinct is like what. So he is threatened. There's a life-threatening thing, and so it's the in a way the subconscious of Babwell says that his children must be protected.
Yeah, so I mean,
And he-
sort of inside him, subconsciously.
It might be. I mean, that would be really ridiculous, because I think he bound them to some kind of thing or so on.
Oh yeah, like, but it's something that he didn't kill either of them. Does
Yeah.
Does he strike you as someone who would have?
Yeah.
Shrunk?
If he wanted to get rid of them, so he was, in a way, he was careful with them. That's something I realized as well. Yes.
Because we previously thought he was scared of them, or conceived the thought that because of their ability to see through his disguise.
Yeah, that was the other thing. That might be. But if it was that, why not kill them immediately?
But how can we use that against him?
I wasn't thinking of using the children against it.
No, but I meant the fact that there might be a bit of Babwell in there. How can we sort of use that against him? We can't sort of.
One way, maybe, of conceptualizing this is imagine the current reality, whatever has been rewritten. Imagine that as an entire separate structure. Everything that Babwell is, including himself, occupies that space now. Everything that was in the world has been jammed into that structure now. But the original structure, the original status of things, there are three things that you know of who stand outside of that. The sister and the two children. Do you think Fallow would have intended that?
No, certainly not.
Yeah, the fly in the ointment.
What was the word she used to describe him, Dr. Ursprung?
Well, she called him a genius and things like that, but...
You are an engineer. Do you think you achieved the kinds of advances that either you or Dr. Babwell have achieved without contingencies?
Well, you'd have thought, yeah. You'd have thought you'd have come up with something.
Well, either they were backup batteries. Well, either to ultimately keep Rabwell compliant if anything was done, or I don't know.
You haven't found any evidence of, in studying the rituals that and studying the components of that would suggest that was intended. You did uncover the link to his health. There's nothing to suggest a connection to either or the two children or the daughter. It's most certainly either something that was unintended or something that is beyond what is circumscribed by the ritual.
Mm-hmm. The only question is, can we use, I don't know, the children and the sister somehow to... So there was the idea that we could somehow overwhelm the device, like overpower it. And maybe if we have the four of them together, they could, I don't know, maybe fuel enough energy in there without burning out. I don't know.
You're looking at that lattice work, Basil. Your connections between the strings on the board. Imagine trying to pull one of them. And how...
Yeah, then all the strings are loose and they fall down. The ones
you might think that
connected.
at a glance, but think of as delicate as it appears to be, think of the strength in that cobweb that you saw on your ceiling. An individual string, you're not wrong, is likely going to break, but when placed together in that lattice work, while not indestructible,
much stronger, yeah.
That could be anyone, though, couldn't it? Would it need to be his family?
I mean, we know that the three of them likely have a connection to the tulpa because they know it is one. So it might be that we could use that, but I'm still of the impression that if we wake up Babwell and ask him, are you willing to risk the life of your children and your sister to maybe remain alive, he might be not willing to take that risk.
Unless it jogs his memory, the fact that they're not affected, would you think you could have worked in some sort of fail-safe or way round this machine or turn it off or some way that you would have built into it?
So I think what we need to do is to get his sister, his wife, and his children to where the machinery is, and then try to have Galberry there and try to do the ritual. But when we do that, it will be Gwendolyn Fellow who shows up, and it will be our good friend Jackson Sane showing up. And I don't know how much time this ritual needs.
Well, I guess we need to ask the professor, would it work by spreading it across, if you can even if that's possible, if you can insert multiple people, whether that would spread it, but...
Yeah, we could try.
We could ask him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go there tomorrow and ask him.
Okay, then, guys, that brings us to the end of the session. Ending up heading back where we were before. So then for those listening at home, thank you so much for joining us for session or chapter 12 of the Guile of the Gaslight Man mystery. As is always the case, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns regarding the session, the game, or the campaign we're playing, please don't hesitate to leave a comment in the comment section down below, and I'll endeavor to reply in a timely fashion. There's also a link down below to the Dungeon Musings Discord server, where all of us are active. We have channels there dedicated to this game, this campaign, as well as most of the other games and campaigns we run on the channel. There's also groups like, or channels like Finding a Group, GM Discussion, tons of great people over there. You are more than welcome to join us. Knowledgeable, helpful, and friendly people. So, yeah. There's also a link down below to our friends at Noble Knight Games. Noble Knight Games is the preeminent unionized retailer of hard-to-find and out-of-print RPGs in North America. Not only do they have an incredible selection of new role-playing games, board games, and card games, they have an unmatched selection of hard-to-find and out-of-print RPGs. If they do not have in stock something you're looking for, you can put it on a want list, and they'll send you an email when it comes in. And if you make a purchase of $10 or more through their website, be sure to enter the code MuserFrost. It's listed down below, and that will change as of January 15, 2025. So if you're listening to this after that time, come back to one of our more recent videos. There also, at the time of recording, is their holiday sale. It doesn't stack with that, but some of the deals on the holiday sale are better than what the discount offers. So you can head on over there. There's also a link down below to something called Heroes Save Villages, which is the charity fundraising we run on the channel. It benefits the SOS Children's Villages International Charity, an incredible organization active in over 130 countries, benefiting over 80,000 orphaned and abandoned children. We currently have voting going on for the final mashup session that we're going to be running this year. Second half of 2024, we've been running a series of mashup sessions, taking classic RPG settings or campaigns or adventures, and running them with games that they're not designed to be played with. Up right now is the Dracula Dossier, originally published for the Night's Black Agents game, written by Kenneth Haidt. And we have 4 exceptional games on offer to mash that sucker up with. 2 have taken the lead thus far. There is also, what else? Yeah, that's it. So if you have donated $25 or more since the start of the year, head on over to the Dungeon Musings Charity Initiatives channel on the Discord server and cast your vote for which of those 4 options you'd like to see us play a Dracula Dossier inspired game with. I'm also sporting this ridiculous mustache because I'm taking part in the Movember event. We don't have a channel or a link on our channel, but I expect that you may have somebody in your life who who is taking part in the Movember event. If you are inclined to donate to the Movember charity, just find someone you know in your life who is participating and make that donation to support men's health in that manner. The last thing I will say is a huge thank you to our stalwart illuminators for tonight. So James, Ingolf, and Darren, thank you so much for joining me tonight. Congratulations on your, I guess, first successful meeting with Gwendolyn Fallow, Dr. Earthsprung.
From successful meeting.
We'll be back in the streets of Paridar in 2 weeks' time, but until then, we hope that we gave you a few hours to take your mind off the troubles of our world and think about the troubles that our illuminators are weighing as they're trying to decide how best to resolve the mystery of the Guile of the Gaslight Man. Until we see you again, stay safe, stay healthy, and happy gaming.